Welcome back. We're going to continue our exploration of the Fern fractal today and learn how to make it animated as you see on the screen. Remember last time in the first video, the first part of this demo and construction, we learned how to create a static Fern. It was static in the sense that the angle of branching was fixed. It was by 120 degrees, and what we're going to learn to do is we're going to learn how to do an animation where we are able to change the angle of rotation between the two branches, and further branches will follow along with that angle variation. So let's open a new sketch. I'm gonna just open a blank page here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create from the number menu a new parameter, and we're going to call it an angle, so that this reminds us that it's an angle of rotation. And we're going to select the angle option there so that it comes with the degrees, default degrees. I'm going to put there initially 120 degrees so that we have some sense of what it is. Let me make this number visible to you. Okay. And we're going to start a construction the same way we have done before. So we're going to start from the bottom to top. What I recommend at this point is it would be nice for you to get a sense that you don't have to always work with the midpoint of the segment. It just has to be a proper dilation of the segment that is being rotated. So in order to facilitate that, let me just choose another dilation factor other than a half. So we could actually do that here. So you could introduce a new parameter. We could call this a ratio. This will be a ratio of our dilation. Let's make that visible for you. Let me change that number initially to 0.75 so that you have a sense of the magnitude. So by this ratio, we're going to split this segment into basically 3/4. The easiest way to do that is we do the following. You select the ratio, you go to transform menu, you memorize or mark the scale factor, and then you double click on this endpoint and select the other endpoint and dilate it towards the top point, which is the center of dilation, by the ratio that you just memorized. Okay? And observe, I have now the freedom. I'm going to just put there another number. I'm going to make it 0.5. I have the freedom of editing this number, so I could make it closer, farther out, etc. And if you select this ratio option, and let's actually understand how this is done. If you go to edit its properties, it's going to ask you, if you go to parameter option, it's going to ask you from the keyboard, how much do you want me to change each time you press plus or minus adjustments? So at this point it's 0.01, which is probably too small. Let's make it 0.05. Okay. And if you click on that ratio button now, and you won't be able to see this, but I'm pressing now Shift plus. I'm pressing Shift because that's how do you get the plus symbol. I'm able to increment each time by 0.05 units. And then if you press the minus, you can decrease this ratio. So you could actually adjust things on the keyboard, or you could just go there and edit to your heart's desire. I'm going to put there actually a number which some of you may recognize as the reciprocal of the golden ratio. It's a number I like a lot. I'm just going to make this more visible to you. I'm going to edit the properties so that you can see this value in the thousands, so you can see that it is a number that is basically, I've split the segment by the golden ratio. If you know that, that's great. If not, we will have other sessions where we explore the golden ratio. So now we are going to do the same thing we have done before, but we're going to rotate it by the angle that we're going to memorize. So let's select the angle, transform, mark, or memorize the angle. Now we're going to rotate around this top point, this point of dilation, transform, rotate, now by the angle that we have memorized. Okay? And then we do the same thing as we did in the first video. Double click on the segment to declare it as mirror. Select this point. Transform, reflect it on the other side. With your segment tool, join to the top point. Join to the top point on the other side too. But observe, now we are free. If you go to your angle tool, and put another number there. So let me make that angle here. Let me edit that. I don't know, 90 degrees. Boom. You can see what happens. Or you could actually use your plus or minus keystrokes. So let me do that. I'm changing the angle manually. You can see what's happening. Okay. So you have the freedom to change these now. So let's do our iteration, and then I'm going to show you how to do your animation. So I select this point of dilation, which I don't want to see anymore. I'm going to hide it. And we are ready for iteration. So I select the bottom point, which is the first ancestor, top end point, which is the second ancestor of this construction. Transform, iterate. Now it's going to ask me what's the new bottom left, bottom top. So I'm going to go bottom, top, and I add the structure, which is a new map. I go bottom, top, and I recommend you increase the iterations a number of times. So I'm going to just increase it until it becomes hard to see. So 10 iterations is probably plenty. When you OK that, when you iterate that, you'll get this shape. Okay? Be aware, things are going to start getting very thick, so you may want to make it thinner. Or so I'm going to select all of my segments here, and I'm going to make sure that they're not terribly thick, so I'm going to go to thin. Okay? And observe, as you change your angle here, what you're going to notice is the relationship between the two branches change because the angle between them changes. And then you can see how you are able to animate this. And I'm going to show you how to animate this automatically. I also want to let you know that when you go to ratio and change that, the ratio is also a dynamic construct here, so you could actually also change it, but I'm going to go back to my golden ratio. 0.618 is a way of splitting the segment rather elegantly. Alright, so the last thing I want to show you is how do you animate a parameter. So you select the angle button, go to Edit, Action Buttons, Animation. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions. You want the direction to be bidirectional, otherwise it's always going to increase or decrease. It's going to ask you how do you want to change your value. You want to be in the continuous version. Depending on how fast you want it to be, 45 degree or less. If you want it to be a slow animation, you could make this smaller, so 30 degrees per second. And the acceptable domain is 0 to 360. Sounds good to me, so I'm going to just allow that. And then when you press the button, you're going to notice it is going to do this unfolding. And it folds back. Okay. You could have all kinds of effects. If you did not like the thickness, obviously you could change that. You could change the color. Let's actually give our Fern a green color. Let's also change our background. Edit preferences. Let's make our background dark so we can see a little bit of contrast. By the way, let me select these measurements and let's actually change their coloring to something that we can see. Okay. And as you animate this now, you're going to notice your fern structure is going to unfold and fold. It's a pretty cool effect. And you could use this in some other cool constructions that you're going to create. Alrighty, I hope you had a good time and you could imagine what kind of exciting fractals you can create once you get a hang over this iteration business, because this is a fabulous feature of Geometer Sketchpad 5.0 that it is able to iterate a process that you've created and it really simplifies your construction. Alrighty, I look forward to hearing what you create. Enjoy.